Hey, Bulldog fans! Welcome to Inside the Huddle, the podcast that brings you the heart and soul of Rolla Bulldogs high school sports. All right, everyone, welcome to Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Romo Athletics and powered by our new title sponsor, Phelps County Bank. And before we get going, let's always recognize Phelps County Bank. Appreciate everything they do. They're 100% employee owned, 100% community champions. Bankers by day, Bulldog fans by night. Go to mypcb.com and check them out. All right, so here we are. We are on episode 18 of season 3, Coach Talk, and we got head coach Derick Heflin and the football specialist Drew Barr. What's up, gentlemen?
Good. How you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. So what we have on the meal plan tonight?
We had a pasta and salad, and then we had Charlie Sue's custard. It was provided by Angie Reese at MVP Legacy, who also made us these sweet hats. And then Riverside Medical, and as always, Sonic provided the water. So no, it was a great meal. Everybody left full, and the ice cream was delicious. Drew, I saw, tried to go back for seconds, but they cut him off.
Custard, Curly Sue custard, man. Did you get seconds, Drew?
No,
Just one?
It was really good though, wasn't it?
Really good. Really good. It looked good. I stayed away from it, trying to watch this figure. Um, Drew, why you look at me like that, man? You say you watching it too? Well, how do you miss it? Is that what you're saying? Oh, dang, man. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it. All right. So hey, let's get going on this. Man, tough one. St. Mary's at home last week. Lost to them on our senior night, 42-21. Man, the game just started off a little bit odd where, I don't know what it was, like third, fourth play of the game.
Yeah.
Easton Smith goes down with an injury.
Yeah, no, I think it was the fourth play. He dislocated his elbow, and when you dislocate something, it looks pretty gnarly. And he got to the hospital, and they got it put back in Friday night. And hopefully, he goes back the week we play Parkview to have it reevaluated, and hopefully for his sake, he can come back and play. Hopefully Parkview, or if not district play. But yeah, losing him was tough. And but it was something where we kind of had planned and prepared, and Blaine had a great night. But yeah, losing a senior and losing a leader like that was tough. And we'd already had a couple guys out, and then that just kept putting that depth and testing that depth, and that's always been something for this season that we've said is depth is kind of an issue. We've got a lot of young guys that are working hard and doing great things on JV. But we're trying to keep them down there and keep them together. And we had to call a couple of them up, and they'll get a test. There'll be a couple of them get a play tomorrow night. But yeah, no, losing Easton that first play was tough, or not first drive of defense. He didn't take a single offensive snap at quarterback. So it was something that you hope you never have to deal with, but when you deal with it, our kids responded, and Easton's a great kid. He hasn't missed a beat. He's been at practice every day helping the kids or the team and doing what he can, and hopefully we can get him back sooner than later.
Yeah, I know that was we got a video from Easton from the hospital. Trying to give a big shout out, and trying to, we're like, hey, we get that up on the video board, but he was looking pretty rough. I
Yeah.
know it was painful. They had him down in the ambulance for quite a while working,
Yeah.
trying to see what they could do, and it took a little bit more. They want to make sure they had the X-rays, and again, you got to do it. You got to play it safe. But that's one of the good things that you typically see with a dislocated elbow, which again sounds horrific,
Yes.
but it's also one of those that typically those are pretty quick to recover from if everything's right and as the healing process goes.
And that was the good thing of I got the same video you got, and then by the time after the game was over, we got everything done. We got up there and saw him, and he was in a lot better shape. I think I got to see him the 30 seconds before the anesthesiologist came back in and knocked him out, and they put it back into place. But no, there's no tears, there's no breaks. Everything is good. It was a clean, I guess, dislocation, if that's how you say it. I'm not, I got a PE degree. That's above my pay grade. But no, he's good. It's just tough because you hate to see a senior have to lose any games, and especially one that's worked as hard as he has and done so much for this program as he's done.
Yeah, it's and like you mentioned, the kids step up. Blaine came up, did a great job. St. Mary's obviously was not ready for him because there's not a lot of
Yeah,
he got some snaps. You've been working him into the
yeah,
rotation, trying to save that. I mean, you'd already talked about you're trying to mix it up, get him more playing time on offense because he's also playing defense, and
yeah.
then that can give Easton a break so he can kind of focus on defense. And you could tell by they're reading those options, they're expecting one thing
Eh,
on those reads, and he was able just to kind of
No,
move really
he
well.
yeah, no, he made some big runs, especially early on. I think it kind of settled him down because, in the past game, I think he was trying to force some things early, and then after he broke a couple of those runs, like I said, there was he made one or two mistakes early, and then other than that, I thought he played a great game. He settled in. Even the interception he threw in the third quarter, that's one of the best catches I've seen a defender make. And when it happened, it happened right in front of us. We're all saying, "Hey, throw the ball exactly where he threw the
Yeah.
ball," and that kid made an unreal play. And that was kind of the difference from last year. This year was they'd picked up a couple kids that were not there last year, and their middle linebacker number two was one of them. And he was all over the place, and their quarterback could sling it a little bit, and he hadn't been there. And they had a receiver safety kid that hadn't been there, so that's just kind of the nature of the beast. But they were a really good team, and other than a couple turnovers and the ability to not jump off sides when the offense goes on two, we were right there neck and neck. That's we had a chance uh, to make it closer than what the score looked because, like I said, we moved the ball. We had over 400 yards of offense. So Blaine stepped in and did a great job. After really the first quarter, the offensive line kind of got some things figured out, and we were able to run the ball and make some big plays. And then Blaine, threw the ball, got everybody involved there, and we did a good job with that. And defensively, really, we did an all right job on 22 for large parts of the game. The questionable when they ran the toss play where they lateraled it to him and he dropped it and we recovered it, and they called it incomplete pass was kind of a backbreaker there because we got the ball, got the turnover, and then the next play we brought some pressure and he hit a toss on the edge, and that was really the only long run he had. Most of his runs were 3 or 4 yards. So we played things better than we did against Mountain Home, but you go against a couple Division I kids and lose your starting quarterback and arguably one of your best defensive players the first drive of the game. Our kids I thought responded and did some good things. We just got to improve that focus and that discipline, and I am pretty confident after the amount of hills our defensive lineman ran this week, that the jumping off sides thing will be fixed. And I think we'll take better care of the ball. A lot of those things were, the like I said, the second interception was an unreal play, and the first fumble we had on that mesh was kind of just a timing issue that you get your backup quarterback and your running backs as much as you can, but they're not getting. Emory and Easton have been meshing like that since seventh grade. You can't have recreate that chemistry at practice and on the fly. And I thought after that, we did a good job. And there's going to be hiccups when you have to make that adjustment, no matter how much you have prepared the guy that's really we were kind of splitting them at quarterback, but at that point, but it was it was one of those things, and I thought Blaine responded really well, and the team kept fighting, and our kids kept competing and played their tails off. It's just we kind of got to get out of our own. It's the same story every time we lose. Just get out of our own way. Don't make silly mistakes that keep you from winning the game.
Yeah, I think it was 4 turnovers, I believe,
Yeah, it
3
was it
4
for yeah, two
turnovers,
picks and two
yeah,
or two fumbles.
fumbles, yeah, 11, penalties, which is kinda what you're talking about there, and it was the timing of those penalties that allowed them to extend drives. We had them long, and then next thing you know, you're bringing them back in. I think there was 2 penalties on one where we had them deep. I mean, I think they had a big gap, and anyhow we close it up.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
it stalled some of our drives
And,
that
and it's those things where it's attention detail. I mean, it's things we work on all day, all the time. What they're supposed to key and what they're supposed to do, but it's also one of those things where you can practice it and you can do all those things. But when the blood's flowing and you're trying to make a play and it's third and whatever, and your ears are pinned back, sometimes it happens. And but it's those things we got to be under control and got to be disciplined and got to be focused on the task at hand.
And you talked about the Kingston Miles at running back, 5'11", 195, has all the D1 offers. Ended up with 158 carries. I think he ended up with 100. I think it was 158. 158 yards on 27 carries.
Yeah, and
So
one,
he was
and
a
I would say
workhorse.
about a 50 of those were on one
Yeah,
run
yeah,
where,
yeah.
and that was, I told the team on Monday, I go, that was me trying to force something where we blitzed our guys up the middle, and I thought they were going to run the inside zone scheme, and they ran that toss play, and when we did that, we lost the flow of our linebackers, and Cameron Moore and Wyatt Stout ended up playing a pretty good game, and Podrick was forced to move to Easton spot, which when we go to the forefront's a defensive end spot, and he played well to replace it. I thought we played a lot better against the run than we had. If you like I said, one of those runs was probably 50 yards, so you're at 26 for 100 yards. That's a pretty good keeping a Division I running back at a pretty good pace of average a clip and making them work it and making them earn things.
Yeah, he was a nice running back. The one play, I don't know if you remember, it was I think it was, I don't know if it was in the first half or second half. Jack Mrazowitz comes down the line, going away from us. They ran a sweep out to their side, the
Yeah.
opposite side of the field, and Jack Mrazowitz chases him down from behind for like a 1 yard
Yes.
gain.
No, I know exactly
Just
what you're
comes
talking
up.
about.
It
Yeah.
was it was one of those things where here's a D1 athlete that has all the colleges looking at him, and here came Jack and just chased him down, caught him from behind. I know the kid was surprised. Was surprised he didn't fumble
Yeah.
because
No.
he was only thinking of what's in front of him.
No, and Jack did that more than once, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Where he ran down on their
Yeah.
sideline, going away from us. Jack reads and keys and goes and plays football, and I think we say this every week. Somebody's going to get a steal that's underselling a kid, because he can go play football. I think he had 13 tackles on the night. He got his first interception, which was big, at the end of the first half. Like I said, defensively, like you look at the score and whatever, but they got put in some tough spots. And if we can eliminate the jumping off sides, penalties, that scores a lot different because Cam Moore had another great night. Jack had a good night. Cam Brown did a good job. Those guys were flying around doing some things, and like you said, you lose a guy that's kind of that plays a special position for us that kind of anchors things early on. They stepped up and played hard.
So it was 7-7 at the end of the half. So
Yeah.
scoreless first quarter, 7-7 at the end of the half. I mean the game's just right there. Against Spabble's getting his way around there. He's feeling good. We had some drops early on that also kind of set the tone for us. That was like you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know
They're not
exactly.
normal drops.
Yes, no,
Typically,
no,
and you have those that kind of then gets it. You lose Easton,
yeah,
and then you come around to offense, and now we have some drops that are
yes.
not unexpected. Um, and then you're trying to recover from that. So it's 7-7 at halftime. We're right there. Then that's where we get stuffed on a drive. We had penalties kind of set us back, and then
Yeah, that third
make some
quarter really
plays.
killed us. I think they scored 3 touchdowns and we
Yep.
didn't score any, and
Yep.
that's where something we got to come out with that focus and that energy that we need to come out with that we come out at the beginning of the first half with, and it was just one of those things where we kind of, but we were able to right the ship. We go down and score. I think we scored at the beginning of the fourth quarter and then scored at the end with about 2 minutes left. We got some things going, and like you said, there was some stuff where Blaine was making some really good plays, and we dropped some balls and did some things that were uncharacteristic of us. And when we get in that pass mode, I think we're getting better at pass protecting. And Blaine was able to get out and do some things and hit some receivers. And when we're open, we got to catch it. And there were some balls that were where they needed to be, and we didn't make the execution of the plays. But there were also a couple catches that CP made that were I don't the last touchdown.
Oh
I
my
don't know
goodness.
how he made
Yeah.
that catch. They were unbelievable. And the one where he went up and came down. He had a picture of it today of how his knee bent when he got down because he was down. Um, and I went out to go check on him, and Jack was cramping, and I was running around, and I got took out at the end of the first half by the running back on the interception. So I was hobbling around trying to figure out which one was where, and CP. Luckily, they were okay because there were a couple times where Jack started cramping and CP was a little banged up, and we had Cruz and Terrell, and we were moving pieces around, kind of trying to mix and match, and that was kind of part of too of some of that stuff in the third quarter where. You know, when we lose guys, you kind of got to pull a guy from over here to go play this spot, and then this guy's got to go here, and that's just where we are right now. And there's nothing wrong with it; it's just the way it is. But sometimes you don't get quite the crisp, sharp execution that you have, with your ones and your first group, and that. I think we got that better at that this week. Having to create some things and do some things and create some packages to really play to Blaine's strengths, but also be able to, hey, if this guy goes down, this guy's got to be able to play this spot and not take somebody from Rob Peter to pay Paul is basically what I'm trying to get at, and that's kind of what we had to do a little bit there Friday night.
Yeah, so you look at overall, I mean, 400 yards offense. I mean, is
Yeah,
that your highest production so far for the?
probably
I
yes.
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we
yeah,
had the one that was 390, but that was, you know,
yeah.
you
No,
know,
yeah. There,
special teams returns
those
and
first
stuff.
couple,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, the Hillcrest and the St. Mary's
yeah,
game, or not St. Mary's, excuse me, the Vashon game. We had put up a lot of points, but the yards weren't
yeah,
weren't as big. And when after the game, that was the first time. Since I've been here that we've had a quarterback rush for over 100 and
yeah,
throw for over 100. And Blaine had about I think 250 yards of total
yeah,
offense exactly, and those runs were really impressive. And in the throws, the first touchdown pass he threw to Jay to start the second half or second quarter, excuse me, was unreal. When he threw it, I thought he was throwing it to somebody else, and then
yeah.
saw where the ball was, and Jay made a great catch, scored the touchdown, and it was impressive. And Blaine made some throws and did some things that were really impressive, and it kind of showed why we'd been on here every week. And I told Dave Roberts, from the first conversation we had in August about this football season, I said I was okay with Easton playing defense because I was so confident in what Blaine could do if Easton went down and couldn't play quarterback. And I thought he went out there Friday night and proved it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, when you say wing it, because some of those throws were like he just kind of like wings that thing out
Yeah.
there, and it was just dropping. I mean,
No.
dropping in. It was that same touchdown pass that he had with Cam Brown
Yes.
last week.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing where you're like, hey, where's that? Then you just see it just drop
Yeah.
right in there. It was
No,
nice.
there's a little Patrick Mahomes and all
Yeah,
of it where he does something, and you're like, what in the world? And they're like, oh, okay, all right, I see that. But I mean, and Blaine's a really good athlete, and he understands the game of football, and uh, like I said, he's done a really good job this week as being the leader and being the guy. So I'm excited to see what we can go out and do Friday night with him with a whole week of just him prepared, ready to go.
yeah. That's it gives you a little bit more. Adjustments to the game plan,
Yeah,
like you said, because where Easton kind of has that power run. Blaine's
yeah,
going to give you more of the a little bit of scat stuff and
yes,
change your pace, change the
yeah,
speed. We talked a little bit about the rushing game. So one of the things I was looking at is they had 66 plays to our 49,
yeah,
which again not normally having other teams do that ball control on us, but they had 44 rushes where we had 23. I mean, their one running back had 27, which again, that's quite the load.
yeah.
But then, the passing attempts, they had 22, 26 for us. So you look at that it doesn't, the score just doesn't represent really what was going on in the game. Cause again, we had the turnovers, you had the penalties, you had that third quarter, the first half 7-7. Overall, it's one of those things where I think there's a lot to take away.
Oh yeah,
A lot of good things to learn from, but also it's one of those nice moments that say, okay, now we're winding down our season. Let's learn from this stuff and
yeah.
let's be ready to go.
No, no, it's getting to to the time of year where we've got to have learned all the lessons we need to learn and get after it. And I think our guys understand that. And this week will be a new challenge. We've got some injuries and stuff that we've have to battle through. So it's that next man up mentality of, hey, let's get after it and let's get ready to go. And I think our kids will be ready to respond and get after it.
I bet they will. So let's take a look at our Price Chopper Big Dog of the Week because we kind of highlighted some of the players, brought them up. So again, thanks to Brian Clark over there at Price Chopper helping us out with the Big Dog Athlete of the Week. Okay, hey, the first one's a kid we've been talking about, the junior Blaine
Yes.
Spabo.
Yeah.
So yeah, Blaine had a heck. He said it was 194 yards rush passing, 14 for 25
Yeah.
touchdown passes,
No, it was good.
7 rushing attempts for 159, I believe it was
Yeah, 139.
139.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
yeah.
and there was a couple of them where I think just about any other team we were playing that there'd been some long touchdown runs, but those kids were really fast and they caught him at the end, but it set us up for those chances to score and get in there, and like I said, he stepped up, did a great job. I couldn't ask for any more from what he did Friday night.
Yeah, it was great to see because he's had his nice moments where he's come in the games. You saw the potential. Watching him on. Did he even play JV or did he have the freshman year? Then last year he was.
Yeah, last year he actually or
Yeah,
him and Michael Hammer rotated. at outside linebacker safety for us. And then he would actually go, and it was his choice. He would go play a half,
Yeah,
even
that's
though
right.
because
Get a
he could
couple
play two
quarters. Yeah,
quarters.
yeah. Get
You
six
get
quarters
six
a week.
quarters a week.
Yeah,
He would go play a half no matter where it was in the JV game at quarterback. And that was his decision. That was something he did, and you could tell he's come a long way, and has done a really good job. And like I said, he's looking at Easton with the injury. He's the guy the rest of the way, and probably next year too. And it's something to build on and something to go with the future. But I think watching it, everybody that was there Friday night saw that we've got something special there, and we got to build to his strength and get behind him and go.
that's great. Yeah, he had a great night. And then Cameron Moore, man,
Yeah, he
the
keeps
big
going,
dog,
man.
man.
20 tackles.
Nice.
And he was, sideline to sideline. Like I said, he made a lot of plays and was all over the place. And that's 2 weeks in a row, man, where he's been the big dog for two
Yeah.
weeks and he's been all over the place and he's starting to figure out how to play middle linebacker and it's pretty fun to watch and hopefully we can continue doing it and keep getting after it because we got another big test this week.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. His evolution as a linebacker from just going up and just using force and power
Yeah.
and attacking to using his hands and technique, and we talked about the tackles for losses that he's coming up and how he's expanding his range
Yeah.
to run because we know he's got the speed, but you're seeing him make those reads and stuff. It was really impressive to watch last week, and the last couple weeks, and to
Yeah,
watch him
it's
evolve.
nice that Jack doesn't have to be the leading tackler every week,
Exactly.
but and it's a true thing that Cameron is coming and progressing and building and doing the things that you ask him to do, and it takes a little bit of the stress off of Jack, and the whole defense,
Yeah.
and we're going to need that this week, like I said, with some different moving parts in there.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this coming week. We got going up to O'Fallon to play St. Dominic. They're 6-0 so far in the season. I think ranked class number 9 or class
They're
or number
9 or
10,
10 in class
class
6.
6.
Yeah, they're a class 6 team.
Now I was going back and looking at some of their matchups, and again they've had their big wins. They've done well. There's some strong historically strong teams, but 3 of those teams that they've had their wins on are class 3 teams, private schools,
Yeah.
which again is always tough because they're a private school. They're probably a class 3 size or less,
They're
but
class 4 or class 4.
class 4
Yeah,
size. Yeah,
yeah.
because you go up to 2, you have a
Yeah,
1
they
and
have this
2.
they went in I it
3 years ago, I think
they
22, 23, they were in the lost in the state
They
title
lost
game
the
there.
state title, and then I think the next year or the year before that, they were in the sim. They went to the state championship and went to the Final Four in consecutive years. So that
Yeah.
bumps them up 2 classes. So that's how they end up in class 6.
Yeah, I think that was the 21, 22, 22,
Yeah,
23,
that sounds
and
about
then
right.
23, 24, they were 10-1
Yeah.
and lost, I think, in the quarterfinal game,
Yeah,
or
so
maybe
no,
something like
they're
that.
they're
Yeah.
a historically good program, and that's when we put them on the schedule. We knew it'd be a tough test, and that was kind of the thinking behind that. And it'll be they're a different type of away from city, O'Fallon, St. Charles County, so it's a different type of kid that they recruit. But we saw them last year, and they've got a quarterback that can spin it, and they're aggressive and physical on defense, and it's going to be up to us to go out there and match that and compete and play mistake free football
Definitely.
for 48 minutes.
Yeah, last year we defeated them here at home 33-6 in a real dominant performance. They didn't score until like 7 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, and
And
the thing last year was we had the ball. I think we got a stop. I can't remember if it was turn. I think it was turnover on downs, and we got the ball. I think with 9.5 minutes to go, and Della Garza scored in the 10th Street end zone in the in the left corner. With no time in the first half, it was one of those things where we had the ball for over 9 minutes and scored, and it kind of took the air out of their sails. And that was you're just talking about the St. Mary's game of that ball dominant things like that. That was what we were able to do last year. So we'll see what we'll be able to do this year. I think it'll be a little different game plan with the weapons we have now, but I think it's the same premise, same defense, same things you see on film. They're well coached and they're going to get after it, so we've got to match that and get after them.
yeah, they got last year was 398 yards for us. They only had 164, like you said, just complete dominance with the ball and how things did rushing spread out all over the place. Everybody kind of contributed. The quarterback, I know he's drawn some college interests, and is he just a junior?
No,
No,
he's a
he's
senior
a
this
senior,
year. Yeah, he was a
junior
junior
last year.
last year. Yes, sir.
And they got their wide receivers, nice
Yeah,
solid connection, and
number two is really good when you turn on the film, and the other kids are good, but when you turn on the kid that plays X for him, it definitely stands out, and it's something where we'll need to know where he is all night. to match that, because he can do some things and the quarterback can really spin it. So it'll be another tough test for us. There's no easy. I guess next week will be easy because we're off, but that'll be the really only easy one we get. But that's you don't ask for an easy pass, you just ask for a strong back to get you through it, and that's what these kids got, and that's what we're going to go out there and get after it and fight and compete. And I think our guys are ready. We had a pretty good week, especially with as banged up as we are, and having to move so many moving parts. We've had a lot of guys step up and get after it, and I'm excited to see what they can go do.
Yeah, having that week where we lost our homecoming game next week, it's obviously disappointing to lose that game during the season. But then we think about the health of our players, and having that extra time for Easton Smith to recover is
Yeah.
nice. Of course, you should have Jed Plank back
Yeah,
tomorrow, right?
we were hoping. No, he's actually not going to be able to go this week. We were hoping to have him back, but it's not progressing the way we wanted. So hopefully, with the bye week, we can get him back for Parkview. We got a couple other guys that are beat up, banged up, and just having a week where you don't have to go play a game on a Friday night. It's after you've been out there and been in it. It's almost like you've been in a car wreck, and then you got to in 6 days be ready to go again, and really in a couple days be ready to go to practice and do it all over again. And so it's one of those things that's tough. And next week will be the first time I've ever had a bye week that wasn't based off of seeding in the playoffs. So it'll be interesting. But we kind of got a plan of action of how we want to handle it, and really the key for the week is uh, getting our guys mentally prepared for the stretch run, but getting them off their feet, getting them off their legs, making sure that we're healed up and we're healthy and we're ready to go when week 10 gets here.
Well, you talk about kids getting banged up and everything. We mentioned a little bit. Colton Petersmith took some big hits out there,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and there's, I mean, nothing malicious. There was a couple, hits
There,
that should have drawn a flag.
as I say, there
Yeah,
was one that was pretty
it was,
malicious
yeah,
that got botched pretty bad, but
and that was a tough one. That was early on,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you're coming off that. You have, like I said, going up for some passes and getting
yeah.
some hits, and they were a tough team. They're a hard hitting team, and so it was definitely yeah, it's something that you almost would have liked to have had that bye week this week,
Oh
and
yeah.
then come in the same or
it,
St. Dominic
it,
next week. But
it is what it is, and like I said, I think our kids will respond. We've got a tough group, and I think our seniors have done a good job of setting an example for our younger kids, and they've done a good job too of bringing them under their wing and taking care of them and setting them up in a position to when it's their turn to be ready. So that's something I think that we'll see tomorrow, and I hopefully our guys come out and respond the way I feel like we planned and prepared, and the week we've had at practice.
well, we're definitely looking forward to that. We're going to be making the trip up there. Going to be trying to streaming the game on Romo Athletics on the YouTube. And so last time we had a personal situation kind of drop up, so we couldn't finish that off. But we will be streaming that this Friday night on YouTube on Romo Athletics. So make sure you check that out. Before we kind of wrap it up, let's take a look at some of our sponsors again. Phelps County Bank, 100% employee owned. MyPCB.com. Bankers by day, Bulldog fans by night, and we know they're 100% community champions. Ken Richardson's Knives. Again, if you haven't been to the site yet, scan it in here. Go take a look at it. Knives. Again, a lot of stuff with bone and antler. It's just the handmade craft. I mean, it really is artistry at its finest here in the Ozarks. Appreciate them being a sponsor. Kobe Wands Skills Academy. Again, work on that new facility. Does a great job with his basketball development. Two-time All-State Bulldogger. Appreciate everything he's done for Ethan. Actually had the pleasure of coaching him as a little kid, so that was always kind of fun as well. Um, Jackie Morozowitz in full bloom.
Yes.
Backdrop rental. She was going to be busy. College signing is going to be coming up next month. She's already been there a lot. You saw her stuff around. Had her for the wedding. Had her for a baby shower. Appreciate everything Jackie does right there. And of course, Brian Clark with the Price Chopper. Big dog of the week. Sometimes Drew thinks he's going to be a big dog, but Buddy's only for players. But you're always a big dog in my book. Okay. So appreciate them. And finally, talk about JP Maxwell, the season ticket, 104.9, Tuesdays, 5 o'clock to 6 on there. Always, I jump on there as a co-host sometimes and have a lot of fun talking about Bulldogs. So appreciate everything they've done. But if you're interested in being a sponsor for other episodes inside the huddle, or some of the game day stuff we'll be doing, just make sure you DM me and we can talk more about that. So I got a final question for you, Coach. So before we go to that, what's your key to victory?
Eliminate mental mistakes, take care of the football, and make them drive the ball and not give up big plays. I think if we can do those things, we'll be in a good spot. What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, probably some injuries around. Probably take him to the hospital a couple times, but it's an X-ray, a bone, and probably Ethan minutes. That's why. Ethan hard injuries.
Yeah,
Go from here to the hospital, and the doctor and nurses could carry him.
yeah.
Who right? His CP had a great year. Ready Pegasus. Ready
So
Pegasus.
we got to find Easton go to the
See,
hospital. So we got to find a new quarterback. So Blaine's got to, instead of Easton get the ball to CP, Blaine got to get the ball to CP this
well,
week.
Blaine got him 100, CP him with 130 yards.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was
dirty
a good
all.
start. So I'm sure Coach got some other game plans. You got some new
Yeah,
touchdown
we've
plays.
been working on it. Yeah,
Let me have a look on that. Derek will hold me any about that.
I got a hold of you, and you
He
told
had
you.
a hold of me a couple time. Bobby Morgan hit.
But we want you to focus on touchdowns and not other people.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Me has said that too a couple time. Like a good job sign. How many go read? Derek said, practice control right here.
Oh, he skipped practice today because I got him the wrong practice schedule, but he did a great job of cleaning the office and earned his ice cream and team dinner.
Okay.
And I am working on I have to personally hand him the practice plan, not put it on the desk like I do for all the coaches. And I learned from my mistake. Correct?
Yeah, I made a
All right.
mistake the first time, and I've had to know CB. CB was good. It's just everybody who watched everybody else had injuries. I know
Yes.
that.
Yeah, give CP the ball because we got lots of injuries.
Ball. Run fast. I'm gonna get there.
He's fast.
Touchdown real quick. Hey, Ethan, Bobby, I know him about 7 years ago. Bobby met him.
You met him. You've known him longer than 7 years. You know,
longer than
you,
7 years. About
you've known him his whole life.
Bobby about how many are going to.
And he's a split image of his dad too.
Yeah, he's his dad too. I know that.
All right, move on. We said we were not gonna. We're not gonna talk. Yeah.
All right, so Coach, we talked about not having a homecoming game next week.
Yeah.
But we still got some festivities. Still have homecoming going on.
We got yes.
So Friday night, we have moved up the annual Powder Puff game,
Correct.
which features the junior girls versus the senior girls. The game's coached by your football team, I believe.
Yes.
I think the senior football team.
Yes.
Do they juniors coach
The juniors are the juniors have been in working, getting lots of advice, getting stuff so they can go set up their practices. I know the seniors are experienced because they've been here.
Or did last year, and what's nice then a lot of the senior athletes, not just from football but from other sports, will participate in there, and they'll be doing probably a dance routine, and it's really kind of a cool environment.
Yes.
We're also going to do some recognition of some of the homecoming
Yes.
alumni, people that are coming back for homecoming. So I'm setting the stage. What I'm saying is you need to show up for this. It's going to be a big night. Friday night could be a lot of fun. But my question for you, Coach, we've talked a lot of football today. Who do you have winning, the junior class or the senior class girls in the Powder Puff game on Friday?
And that's Blaine and Cam and Terrell are coaching the juniors, so that I have more information because they've asked more questions. But I mean, I've also been a part of these, and there's always the accusation that these are more geared towards the seniors always win because these things can be kind of whatever. So I'm going to pick the seniors just because every time I've been a part of these things there's always the accusation that it's rigged so the seniors win, and it's so I'll go seniors just because I don't know if I don't think we did this when I was in high school, and I've been at other schools, and I definitely know that it's usually set up so the seniors are given every chance to win.
Well, the seniors got some good athletes.
No, yeah, and
the girls got some good athletes.
and
You got some girls out there, Abby Creedy going out there. You got,
correct.
You know,
And I've talked to Blaine and Cam, and I know what their game plan is, and it's a solid game plan, but there might be some holes in it as well. But I got all the faith in the world in them, and it'll be interesting to see. That's for sure.
it's a lot of fun, man. It's gonna be a good night.
I think Drew agreed to be a cheerleader.
No.
Man. Maybe I think he's gonna help coach Easton and the seniors. My bad. I'm sorry.
Are you gonna help out with the senior crew then?
Yeah.
Yeah, me coaching.
You don't want to dress up though and be a cheerleader?
No, go to your
I
church.
did that. I did that my senior year.
I've heard one of Jennifer Trail about his year about a long time ago.
Yeah, Jeff Cottrell graduated in the 90s. Yeah. In the mid, yeah, he was the fullback in the 90s when we were really good.
Here up back in that. Jeff had no dress really.
He wore a dress. Oh, it must. Maybe they did have powder puff.
Somebody had it back then.
There we go.
I know we had switch day homecoming when I was in high school, and we did the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of how we did it.
Yeah, no, it'll be cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you turn out. So hey, you can tune in, and if you want to tune in on the stream, it'll be on YouTube at Romo Athletics. If you want to listen to it on the radio, you got Sunny 104.5 and ESPN 104.9. They'll both be broadcasting the game as well. So, Coach Drew,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Best of luck tomorrow night, heading up to O'Fallon, 7 p.m. kickoff. So make sure you all show up there and let's cheer on the Bulldogs. If you can't show up, make sure you tune in and kind of listen to the games. So for Coach Derick Heflin, for the football specialist Drew Barr, I'm Tom Brown, and from inside the huddle to the heart of the game, we'll see you next time.